Now, in our day first, we'll be learning about all the 5 phases of ethical hacking. We'll be discussing about what are the key concepts that are there in these 5 phases and what questions can come from these key concepts in these 5 phases. So that will be the agenda of our very first day. So we'll be learning about, yes, the CEH exam format, the strategy, the phases of ethical hacking, what are the models of ethical hacking, then footprinting, scanning and enumeration, vulnerability analysis, system hacking, and some Q&As and clarifications on common questions and the tricky areas that you might find in your Q&As. So let's begin our session. First of all, by discussing about what the CEH exam format will be. So here in the CEH exam, we are having is a theoretical exam. And in this, we'll be having 125 questions with the duration of 4 hours. And all the questions will be MCQ based with the passing marks of 70 to 80%. So that is a theoretical or knowledge based exam. Then we also have is a practical based exam. So in this 20 questions come, these are all practical questions. And in this 6 hours are allocated for you in which the passing score is 70%. So that means out of 20, 14 questions should be correct at minimum. So this is the exam information that we are having. And what we will do in today's session, we'll be going to discuss 5 stages of ethical hacking. So when I say ethical hacking, before we have to know what is an hack. So like if you are scrolling your YouTube, you are having any short videos, you would have seen that there is some kind of a life hack, there is some kind of a kitchen hack, which could make you do the same task in an unconventional way, which might reduce the time to perform the task. So that is what we know as hack. And the person who is performing this hack is known as a hacker. Then what is a hacker? So hacker is someone in cybersecurity who can cut into something into pieces by sheer force. Either he can brute force to get an unauthorized access, or he can do anything in an unconventional way or in a shortcut way. Like all of you guys, if you are logging in into a website or any web application, so you need to know your username, you need to know your password, and with that, you will be able to get login into that particular website. But what if I told you that if there is a hacker, so hacker is someone who is very, very skilled, like who knows how to manipulate, who knows how to exploit systems, networks, and devices. So what he can do, this is a standard way of login. He can find an unconventional way, some kind of a shortcut way. For example, this web server, it might be possible that this server is having other ports open. What if the particular attacker maybe use or exploit this SSH port and get unauthorized access to this particular website? That is also one way to get access to that particular system. So when I say hacker, now hacker could be unethical and hacker could be ethical. But that is the reason the hacker term itself isn't inherently like malicious. Hacker is someone who is skilled enough in understanding and manipulating the technology. That is the hacker. So let us say we are having an ethical hacker. So when I say ethical hacker, meaning before he is going to do or anything in an unconventional way, he is going to take permission from that particular organization. That is the unethical we are having. So if we are hiring or any customer, any client is hiring an ethical hacker, then the ethical hacker will perform the pen test on that particular organization. And the phases of the ethical hacking according to a CEH methodology are these 5 phases. So what are these 5 phases of ethical hacking? That is your reconnaissance, first phase. Second is scanning. Third is gaining the access. Fourth is maintaining the access. And fifth is clearing the tracks. So outside of this CEH ethical hacking, what we are having is some before the hacker begins these phases of hacking, there is also a planning phase or a pre-engagement phase, you can say. So in this, like let us say this is a pen tester and this is the organization. So if the organization has hired this particular pen tester, the pen tester needs to sign an NDA, which is your non-disclosure agreement. So in this case, the pen tester and organization, definitely pen tester will be finding out some vulnerabilities. Can the pen tester share these vulnerabilities to any third party? He should not be able to do that. So with this, the pen tester has to sign this NDA, that is non-disclosure agreement. Then can the pen tester perform this pen testing on this particular organization, all the systems? Like if this organization is having, let us say, one, two to around 100 systems, can pen tester perform it on all the systems? No. Organization here, it will tell the pen tester what is the scope on which he can perform the pen test. So if I'm having 100 system, organization will say only the first 20 systems you can perform the pen test upon. That is your scope. So in the planning phase, these things happen. After this, now the pen tester will perform the reconnaissance. Like in the scope, there could be some public facing website as well, like something example.com. So what the attacker will do or the pen tester will do, it will try to gain the information about that particular target system without actively interacting with that target. That is the reconnaissance phase. Second phase we are having is scanning. So in the scanning phase also, the particular ethical hacker, it will be like trying to gain information on the architecture of these systems. Like he will be able to know in the particular system what are the open ports, what are the services running on those systems. So that is your second phase, that is scanning phase. Third we are having is gaining the access. So in gaining the access, after getting to know all the information, what the particular pen tester will do is now it will try to get a initial access to that particular system. Here it will try to exploit a vulnerability it might have found in this information there. So that is the gaining the access. By abusing any misconfiguration, by gaining some level of access to this target system. That is the third phase. Fourth phase we are having is maintain the access, in which attacker will try to gain some level of foothold on the system, maybe by deploying a particular Trojan, by deploying a particular rootkit, something like that. So that is or maintain the access. And last is fifth phase, that is clear the tracks. So in clear the tracks, guys, here what the particular attacker might be doing, it will try to cover his tracks so that the organization might not be able to know that someone has attacked their systems. Or if it is a red teaming, something like that, if the blue teaming is their engagement is going on. So here the attacker can test the organization's defensive capabilities, whether the blue team is able to detect them or not. So, and here how it will be able to clear the tracks, like it will be able to clear the tracks by clearing the logs, by deleting the history, by deleting the activation history, by flushing down the DNS resolver cache. So that is your clearing the tracks. So these are the five phases. And after that, what the pen tester will do is pen tester will submit a report. Like this could, you can understand, you could think about this to be a very, very important part of the penetration test. Because at the end of the day, the client is only going to see this report. And even if you like find all the critical vulnerabilities in the world, but if the report is badly written, then definitely your client or the organization will not be happy. So in your report, you should be having all the vulnerabilities. You should be having the reproduction steps, how you find out on how you exploited these vulnerabilities. Your vulnerabilities like V1, V2, V3 all should be having the risk assessment done. Like if V3 is low, V2 is medium, V3 is high, like that. So risk assessment should also be done so that the organization can prioritize which vulnerabilities they have to fix first. So that is the report phase. But from CH perspective, these are the 5 phases we are having. Now in the exams, there is one model with which questions can come, and that is your cyber kill chain. So what happened in this? Like there was a particular person, that is your Lockheed Martin. So what he did, he saw that the he was in the military, and he saw that military used to have one type of a kill chain with which they were targeting a particular target, and that kill chain was F2T2EA. So let me show you here what this Lockheed Martin saw in this kill chain. Like if the military you want to target a particular uh, terrorist or something like that, so what he will do, what the military will do, they will find the target, they will fix the location of the target, they will track the target's movement, then they will target it with the appropriate weapon, engage with that weapon, and then assess what is the aftermath of that weapon. So what this Lockheed Martin saw, and he thought, okay, military is following this particular kill chain. Can we also apply it in your cyber realm? And with this, cyber kill chain was born, which was of 7 phases, distinct phases, that is from reconnaissance to weaponization, delivery, exploitation, installation, command and control, and action on objectives. So many times questions come from this. So let me explain it to you with an example. So all of you guys can go to this site and you can check it by yourself as well. For example, in this case, these are the phases of your cyber kill chain. So what is happening here? The very first phase is your reconnaissance phase. So in this reconnaissance phase, we'll be gathering the information. For example, in this case, I'm having this website and there is this name parameter. Now, what if I write anything here, anything gibberish here? I can see it is getting directly reflected on this particular site. What if I write here my name? I can see it is directly getting reflected here. So what if this name parameter, no input validation, no sanitization has been done? Can any attacker just put some kind of a script into this name input field or name parameter there? So what the attacker can do in reconnaissance phase, attacker can gather the info that okay, this name parameter looks little bit suspicious. Then the second phase, that is your weaponization phase. In this particular one, the attacker will create an exploit. It will create a backdoor. It will be setting up command and control server. So that is our weaponization phase. So what the attacker did, attacker created an exploit in this. So the exploit would be the script here, which says an alert box 1 script. So this is the exploit that is created, and it is going to embed this particular exploit in this name parameter. Then third phase here is delivery phase. So here the attacker will use phishing emails to deliver this particular link. So guys, this is the link I'm having. So what is happening? Okay, many people are able to see. So what is happening in this case? As soon as you are clicking enter, this script is getting executed by your web browser, and this the script is non-malicious, guys. So you definitely you can click on that, and it is going to display you an alert box which will say 1. So if I press enter here, it will say an alert box which will display 1 here. So in this case, what the attacker will do, attacker will be embedding some kind of a malicious script in this particular name parameter, as this is not getting validated on the both servers end and the clients end. Now, once after this, it has been delivered and the victims click on this link, our exploitation phase will begin. So in the exploitation phase, if victims click on the link, what will happen? Initial access will be happening. That is the exploitation phase. Then in the fifth phase, installation. So what happens in this? Here, once the particular victim clicks upon this particular code, the code could also download and install a particular rat, a particular Trojan. So once that will be done, installation will be done, that is maintain the access. So that is having a foothold in the particular target system. And the sixth part is command and control server. So that is your C2 server. So what is this C2 server? With this C2 server, now once our backdoor is established there, Trojan is established on the particular victim, now the attacker can communicate with that compromised system. That is our command and control. You can control that particular system. That is the command and control server. And the last is the action that we are going to have. So what could be the action of the hacker? What if the attacker wants to exfiltrate the data? What if it wants to launch some additional attack on the other systems that are present on the network, in the network there? So that is the seventh phase, that is action phase. So these are your 7 stages of your cyber kill chain, and questions does come from these. So the very first question that we will discuss, at which of the following steps of cyber kill chain is the creation of malware weapon? For example, such as malicious file disguised as financial spreadsheet, exploitation, reconnaissance, weaponization, delivery. A, B, C, or D? In this particular case, what is the keyword? The keyword is creation of malware weapon. So what is the correct answer, everyone? That is your correct. That is correctly told by everyone. That is your C, weaponization. Then let's move to the next question. At which of the following stages of cyber kill chain does data exfiltration occurs? A, B, C, or D? That is the last phase. That is the action phase. When after everything has been said and done, the attacker will use his command and control. When the system's machine, target's machine has become compromised, he will use command and control server to exfiltrate the data. So that is your C, where the data exfiltration is happening, actions on objectives. Yes, everyone is correct now. Then a little trickier question that can come in the exam. John, a security specialist, conducts a pen test in his organization. He found information about the emails of 2 employees in some public sources, and is preparing a client-side backdoor to send employees via email. Which of the stages of cyber kill chain does John perform? Recon, command and control, weaponization, exploitation. So three phases are given to you. First is recon. Second is preparing up client-side backdoor. That is weaponization. And another phase that is given is it will be delivering or sending the particular fake link to the employees. That is your delivery phase. So yes, once again correct. The correct answer is C, and that is my weaponization phase. Now, why the weaponization phase is because right now it is saying on which stage the John is currently right now of this cyber kill chain. So that is your C. Right now, if you see here and if you focus on this is word, and right now is preparing a client side backdoor. So it is on this weaponization phase. So C is the correct answer for this. So this is cyber kill chain, and from this module first of CEH, questions can come from this. Now let's move to our very first phase, that is footprinting. So we know that here the footprinting here it is about gathering the information, and we can gather the information using multiple ways. Like if I have to define the intelligence, we are having different types of intelligence. Like we are having int, where that is your human intelligence, where we are gathering information from human sources. We're directly interacting with people through interviews, maybe through espionaging, and then we are gathering the information. We could have signal int, that is might be tapping the phone calls, intercepting the phone calls, getting information from electronic signals from communication channels. That is your SIGINT. We could have imagery int, like gathering the information from images. Like government, they do that. Government, they perform aerial reconnaissance through the satellites. They gather information about the suspects. That is int. And last, that is the focus of our discussion. That is your guys OSINT, open source intelligence. Here we are gathering the information from publicly available sources. That is my OSINT. From social medias, from websites, from news reports, that is OSINT. And here we are having two types of footprinting, that is active footprinting and passive footprinting. So passive footprinting is about gathering the information without interacting with the target. So if you're not interacting with the target, definitely we might be getting some less information. But what is the advantage of this? We are not alerting the target about our presence. That is the passive footprinting. On the other hand, when we say active footprinting, we are interacting with the particular target and gathering the information. So definitely if we are interacting directly with this, we could have more information about the target. But definitely everything has risk and pros and cons. So in this, there is a chance that we might alert the target as well. So two types we are having, passive and active. Now in this case, we'll be discussing it from the exam point of view. The particular questions can come in passive footprinting is through your Google dorking. That is footprinting through search engines. So like what we can do is if we want to gather information about a target, we can use our search engines like Google, Bing, Yahoo, Baidu, DuckDuckGo, like that. And one way of using Google is through Google dorking. So what is this Google dorking? So Google dorking is like, for example, let us say I want to search about something. Like I want to download a movie that is Avengers. So I want to download this movie Avengers from drive.google.com. And as soon as I press enter, if I see here, I can see that I'm getting these movie Avengers. Some of the links are from drive.google.com, but are all the links from drive.google.com? We are not having all the links from drive.google.com. We are not having fine-tuned results. So what we can do in this case, I can use the Google dorking. So what is Google dorking? Like I can use some kind of special arguments in the normal Google query to find out specific information to fine tune my result. So that is how the structure of this is. We write some operator and then we write the keyword here. So one such operator I'm having is this cite operator. So what this cite operator will do, I will be telling the Google, hey Google, can you give me the search results only in this particular site only? So in this case, what I did is I wanted to only get the results from this drive.google.com. So I will write for this keyword a operator for this, that is cite operator, and by separated by a colon. Now guys, if I press enter, guys, can you see now all the search queries, search results that we are having, it is only from drive.google.com, 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 like that. So that is your Google dorking to fine tune the results. Now there are different types. Like we can see here our search result. This is called as your title. Like this is the web page's name or the headline, you can say. This is the URL. This is the web address of that website. And this is the content, the text. So here there are different other types of operators we are having with which we can fine tune our result. For example, if I write this site operator and I write this facebook.com. So this will give me the subdomains of this facebook.com, like pay.facebook, developers.facebook, ai.facebook, familycenter.facebook, like that. So that is our Google Dorking where I can perform subdomain enumeration of this facebook.com. What if I want to retrieve only the PDF files? So for this, I'm having this file type operator. So if I write PDF here, I will be only getting the PDFs from this facebook.com. What if I want to like try to test or pen test the admin sites, admin URL endpoints for this facebook.com? So I know in the URL, there would be some admin could be written on that particular endpoint. So what I can do is I can write here in URL admin. And here I will see that in the URL, wherever there is admin that is coming here, it will be telling me that, okay, these are the particular links we are getting. So that is your Google Dorking, guys. Now, in this case, many times I have seen questions coming up from the Google Dorking itself. Then another one we are having is you're extracting the website information from archive.org. So there is one way with which we can go back in time, with which we can visit the archived versions of the website, and that is your way back machine, guys. So in this, let me show you how this works. So let us say right now, if I visit infosectrain.com, I can see right now this is how the website is. Now what this Wayback Machine does, Wayback Machine takes snapshots of this website and archives it in a different in a periodic time interval. So let us say the website was founded in 2016 and till now 2025, the particular website has been archived multiple times at different timestamps in different time durations. So it might be timestamped in 2018, then 2020, 2022, like that. So what we can do is right now, this is how the InfosecTrain site is looking like. As we can see, Using Wayback Machine, I can go back in time and then I can look how the website used to look in that particular date. That is the Wayback Machine we are having. So let me show it to you with this example. I'm going to go to particular Wayback Machine there. And here I'm going to write infosectrain.com. And here you guys can see that it has been snapshot so many times previously. So what if I wanted to see how would the InfosecTrain look like in 2020? So I can see here, like, let us say take any particular date, how it would have been looking like in February 4th, 2020. And there is one snapshot. I'm going to click upon that. And it is going to show me this is how the InfosecTrain looked like. So what is the advantage of using Wayback Machine is, let us assume that right now, what if in 2025, we would have put some kind of sensitive information. Maybe the founders have put their particular personal informations in the website because at that time we were the startup. So what would have happened? Now what we can do is, now in 2025 we have deleted the personal information, sensitive information like that. So what as an attacker you can do, you can go back in time and now you can go how it used to look like, and you can then extract that deleted particular information of the particular founders there, of the team there, that is in the infosec train. So this is an example of Wayback Machine. You can extract the deleted data by going back in time. So we have done one theoretical concept there. Now let us try to do one practical concept. One practical question also like that can come in the exam. And what you are going to do is, this is a victim's profile. Okay. So what this victim profile has done, this is the Kate we are having, and we are targeting this Kate victim. Now in this case, she has put some tweets in this, but afterwards what she did is she deleted that tweet. Now what we can do, we can use Wayback Machine to go back in time and then to see that deleted tweet. And guys, since we do not have that much amount of time, so here what you will do is you will go to your Wayback Machine, her friend's nose, a car window, her arm, a store window. And the hint is that you have to go to this particular snapshot. You have to go to 2019 and the date is 19th March. And based upon this, you will see the deleted tweet of this Kate and tell me the answer. Is it 1, 2, 3, 4? What did the Kate break? You guys can see, right, that in this case, this is the site we are having. Now you can paste the particular link into this Wayback Machine, and Wayback Machine will be telling you that, okay, that particular website has been timestamped these many times. Now what you can see here based upon this, like if you go to 2019 one, and you can see here that, okay, on 19th March 2019, there is one snapshot that this Wayback Machine took. Now in this case, we can see, guys, can you tell me what did the kid break? This is the deleted tweet. The kid break this car window. And with this, we were able to see the deleted tweet of the kid. So second is the correct answer. So this is the power of your Wayback Machine, to go back in time to even see the deleted tweet. So I have seen in the practicals also this question can come. And for theoretical exam, let us see some questions based upon this. What is the name of practice of collecting information from published or otherwise publicly available sources? Open source intelligence, artificial intelligence, social intelligence, human intelligence. That is your A. Which of the following Google search operators allows restricting results to those from specific website? Cache, site, in URL, link. Guys, everyone remember the example of movie Avengers site, some website.com, example.com, something like that. What was that site operator doing? What was it allowing? Was it restricting the results to a specific website? Let me show it to you once again, guys. See, before this site operator, we were getting the links that was from different particular web URLs there. docs.google.com, play.google.com, drive.google.com. We only wanted the links from drive.google.com only. So what I did, I used site operator. And can you see now? All the URLs here are from drive.google.com only. So what is the answer here? Which is restricting the results to a specific website, a specific URL. That is the site operator. So many times I have seen questions will come in the CH exam, site operator, in URL. What are the functionalities of these operators? So you have to be seeing the model 2 of footprinting, and you have to look out for all the Google operators that are having and what are their functionalities. One or two question can come from this. The Wayback Machine is used to do which of the following, guys? Get job posting, view websites, view archived versions of the website, or backup copies of the website. That is C. View the archived versions of the website. Like in this case, when we were tracking down this particular cat, Kate profile web page, she deleted a tweet. And we know that Wayback Machine archives the website at different time duration. So we went back in time to see the archived website, and we were able to see the deleted tweet, and we were able to know that the Kate break the car window. So that is your reconnaissance phase, guys. Now the second phase that we'll be going to is your scanning phase. So before we go to scanning, we need to know, like let us say this is the network I'm having. This is the network I'm having, and in this network, let me just, this is the victim machine, and I'm turning it on. So this is a victim machine we are having. So, and this Kali machine I'm having is your attacker's machine. Now, in this case, if I want to target this particular victim machine, first thing that I need to know is that whether this particular machine is live or not, right? Like for example, we are having ping command. So if I'm trying to ping, let us say google.com, the ping command will tell me whether that particular Google server, the host is reachable or not. So if I press enter here, I am getting a response. That means the google.com is live. Now, on the other hand, if I try to ping, let us say just like this, if I'm seeing the google.com is live, so let me show you here. If I write here google.com, I can see that it is working perfectly fine. Just like this, I'm having another site like let us say elm.sa, and I can see that this site is also working perfectly fine. If I try to ping elm.sa, it is saying that it is not giving me the response. It is saying it is down. So what could be the reason? We know that ELMA servers, they are working perfectly fine. As you can see, the site is working perfectly fine. But the ping is telling me that the particular elma.sh server is not reachable. As you can see, the no response is coming. So what could be the case? Why the ping is not working? The website is working perfectly fine. What could be the reason? The reason could be that here the ping uses ICMP protocol, and it might be possible that there is a firewall in that elm.sa which is blocking our ICMP request. That is your that is the reason the ping is not working. So for this case, we are also having another tool with which we can send another packet. Like instead of ICMP, I can send another packet using this tool, that is hping3. So if I write here -a and I write alm.sa and press enter, now you can see that I'm getting the response. So this is how you can bypass your firewalls to know that whether the site is live or not. And that is your hping3. So the first thing that we do is the attacker will know whether the victim system is actually live or not. So in the network, let us say the attacker can use another way also, that is using ARP scan. So I can see here, like this is the particular IP address of the attacker machine. So what will be the subnet of this one here? The subnet would be from 0 to 255. I'll be scanning all the IPs in this subnet, and I will be getting that, okay, in this case, this is the victim system and it is live here. So how I know that it is live? I came to know that, okay, using ARP scan, I'm able to see the IP address of this victim machine. So with this way, I know that, okay, the particular system here of this victim machine is live. And now once I know that this is live, now I can perform the scanning. So some of the ways with which I can know whether the victim system is live or not are these techniques, that is a ping scan. If ping is getting blocked, I can use hping3. I can use ARP scan to scan all the hosts that are live in my subnet. Now once I know, okay, these are the IPs that are live, only then I can perform my scanning. That is the second phase of ethical hacking. So now in the second phase, I will be going for that, getting the whole architecture of that victim machine, and that is by using this Nmap. And the Nmap stands for your network mapper. That is your Nmap. So in this case, what I can do is I can use the Nmap to get to know what are the live hosts we are having in the network, the DNS lookups I can perform, the operating systems I can know about that particular system. I can find the operating or open ports and services. I can use the scripts on that particular victim machine. So let me show you here, like how can I perform, like if I want to know the operating system of that particular machine. So this is the IP address. I know that this particular machine is live here. I can use Nmap and I can just paste this IP address, press enter, and here I can get to know, like, okay, these are the open ports I'm having. Now in this case, this is the whole particular architecture of that particular system. Like I can know that, okay, this is the service that is running, FTP service is running on port 21 and it is open. SSH is running, it is open. SMTP is running, it is open. Then here different ports are there and these are open. So that is my scanning phase. I am directly interacting with the target machine and I'm gathering the information what are the open ports I'm having. Then one another way of knowing the open ports we are having, services are having, and then we can also get to know what are the versions that are running for that particular service. And that is by using this command, this parameter, that is -s capital V. So in the exams, many times question can come using hyphen s capital V. I can get to know what are the service version of that particular service. So if you see here, like here, if you see both the output, in the first one I'm having port, state and service. Then in the second one, when I'm using hyphen sv, there is another column that is there, and that is the version column. So here the version column is telling me for FTP service, this is the version that is there. For SSH, this is the version that is there. For SMTP, this is the particular version that is there. So with this, what I can do if I want to exploit that particular service, I can simply try to search whether that particular version of that service is outdated or not. And then I can exploit it later on. So that is my scanning phase. Then if I want to know the operating system, can I know the operating system of that particular target? Yes, I can know that. How can I know that? Using this particular parameter, that is hyphen capital O. So if I press enter, this hyphen capital O, it will tell me that the particular victim machine here, the operating system, the particular victim machine is having is your Linux one. That is how powerful this Nmap tool is. Then using the Nmap, what we can also do is we can also are having many scripts. So let me show you the number of scripts I'm having. So these are the scripts I'm having in Nmap, and I can run any of the scripts for that particular port we are having. Like if I try to have know the scripts for FTP port, I'm having these many scripts for that particular FTP service. So what I can do, I can use Nmap to also know whether that particular service is vulnerable or not. So here I know using Nmap, like for this FTP one, the service version that is there is VSFTPD. So what I can do, I can use the script and I can tell to know, like I can write here Nmap, then hyphen script. I can use this VSFTPD backdoor script for FTP. Then the port I'm having is your 21 port. And then I can just write the IP address of that particular victim machine. Can the victim's FTP service, can it be exploitable or not? Can you see the state here that is written? It is exploitable. So once I ran the script, I got to know this is the victim system, and here this FTP port, that is the 21 port, that is exploitable. So this is how powerful this Nmap tool is. Now what if we are running this Nmap? What if the Nmap here, the tool I'm running, the pro packets that I'm sending, what if the security solutions are there? What if the firewall is there? IDS, IPSs are there? They might be able to filter these packets. So can I evade also using the Nmap? Yes, we can. And we are having different types of techniques to evade as well. And in this also the questions can come. So one such technique we are having is your source port manipulation. So source port manipulation here refers to manipulating the actual port with common port numbers in order to evade the IDS and the firewall. So what I do is I can use this hyphen G command to manipulate the port. So how will I do that? Let me show it to you. Like let us say this is the Nmap one I'm using, and on the other hand I'm running this Wireshark tool. So Wireshark is a network capturer tool I'm having. Now here I am just going to use this IP address for this particular one victim machine. Now here, if I'm running normally an nmap scan, I can see in this Wireshark tool that here, what is my port? My port is 61,436. That is written here, 61,436. So what can happen? This is the firewall I'm having of the victim, and victim only allows the incoming request if the source port is from 80 or a common port is there, 8443 like that. So if the incoming request is coming from 61,436, what can happen? The particular victim machine will block that particular incoming request. So what I can do? I have to change my source port. How can I change the source port? Is using -G. That is my source port manipulation. So let me just refresh this. And now I will use nmap. I will use here is -G port 80 and then I will press enter. Now if you see the Wireshark, you can see that but in this case, you can see here the incoming request, the source port is port 80. As you can see, 80, 80, 80, 80 like that. And this is how I can evade this firewall by manipulating my port to 80. So that is your -G command for that, parameter for that. Another way of evading is using decoy scanning. So using decoy scanning, what we do is, like for example, the attacker's IP is something like this 1.1.1.1. And what if the firewall is configured with, like, let us say, Alien Vault? We are having IOC's indicator of compromises. And in this case, we know that 1.1.1 is blacklisted. So firewall, any request that will be coming from here, this IP is blacklisted, all the particular packets will be filtered down. So what can the attacker do in this case? Attacker here, attacker can use decoy scanning. How it can use decoy scanning? Let me show you. Attacker can use decoy scanning. Like for example, in this case, let me once again restart this and let me show you from which IP I am particular performing the nmap upon. So if I just write nmap normally, if I show you what is my IP address, this is the IP address .128 of the attacker's machine. So here if you see the source IP, you will see it is from .128, .128.128 like that, as you can see. So I want to manipulate my source IP and I want to perform some random IPs there. I want to fake the IP addresses. So how can I do that? I will be using this decoy scanning, that is -D command. So what I will do, let me refresh this and let me write here and map. Then I will be running this -D random and 10 IP addresses I'm going for. So 10 fake IP addresses I went for. And now if you see in the Wireshark guys, can you see the IP addresses here, the source IP, it is random. 10 fake IP addresses are there. Instead of .128, these are 10 fake IP addresses. Some random IP addresses are there like this. So this is the power of decoy scanning. So in Nmap, in your scanning phase, we discussed about Nmap. We discussed about some of the popular parameters of Nmap scanning. We discussed about to know how we can check whether the host is live or not and some evasion techniques. So based upon this, let us see some MCQs which can come in the exams. The ping utility is used to check the integrity and quality of connections in networks. In the process, it sends ICMP echo request and captures the incoming ICMP echo reply. But quite often, remote nodes, your servers, your target systems there, they block or ignore the ICMP. So, which of the option will bypass this? R ping, trace route, H ping, broadcast ping, guys. Which is the correct answer? We also perform the practical of that. And that is my C. That is your H ping 3 there. Which of the following command line parameter would you use to determine the service protocol, the application name, the version number, the host name, the device type, A, B, C, or D? And that is my C. That is hyphen S capital V. Alex received an order to conduct a pen test and scan a specific server. When receiving the technical task, he noticed the point. The attacker must scan every port on the server several times using a set of spoofed source IP addresses. Which of the following Nmap flags will allow Alex to fulfill this requirement? A, B, C, or D? Guys, remember the parameter for which we performed the decoy scanning. The last scanning that we performed to evade the firewall, the security solutions for that particular target system. What was the parameter did I used? So D is the correct answer, guys. That is hyphen capital D. So this question has came previously in the CH exams. That is the correct answer. Now we have discussed about scanning. So we have completed our two phases, that is reconnaissance and scanning, and some key concepts there. Now we will also go with our vulnerability assessment, with which we can automatically, manually or automatically, we can find out the vulnerabilities that is there in that particular system. So once we find out the vulnerabilities, we are having different tools, like we are having Nessus tool, we have Nikto tool, OpenVAS, different tools are there to perform this vulnerability assessment. And if once we generate the report, we find out all the vulnerabilities for that particular system, there we will find out that there is this CVSS that is written on that particular report. So again, this is very important. Questions come from this. What is this CVSS? That is Common Vulnerability Scoring System. So here, CVSS, it provides a numerical severity score that is ranging from 0 to 10. So here, it is going to help the organizations to prioritize which vulnerability that you have to fix first. So some vulnerabilities will be given a score of 7, some would be given a score of 9, some vulnerability could be given a very low score like 4 or 3. So with this, they will be categorized, and then the organization can prioritize which vulnerabilities that they have to fix first. So what happens that they calculate this CVSS. So I'm pasting this particular link here in the chat box. How they calculate this CVSS vulnerability, this scoring system, how they calculate it. So here we are having this particular case, that is base metrics we are having. So I'm only going to discuss this metrics only. So what is this base metrics? It tells you how bad the vulnerability that you have found is at its core. That is the base metrics. Is the vulnerability easy to exploit or not? The intrinsic characteristic of the vulnerability that doesn't change over time or environment is known as your base metrics. So let us say you find out the vulnerability here in the system, and you found out that to exploit this vulnerability, you can use the network. Using network, you can exploit it. then the attacking complexity to exploit that vulnerability is not very high. It is very low. You do not need any privilege requirement. User interaction is none. Scope remains unchanged. And the impact, if you exploit this vulnerability on the system, it is very, very high. Now, as soon as you fill these things of base core metrics, you will see that the CVSS score for that vulnerability is 9.8. And many times the question will come that you will be given a vulnerability, like the vulnerability that was found according to CVSS is 9.8. So what is the category in which it belongs according to your CVSS version 3? So what happens in this? Low is 0.1 to 3.9, medium is 4 to 6.9, high is 7 to 8.9, and critical is 9 to 10. So 9.8, if it is showing you, so that means that vulnerability is falling under this critical category. So four options would be given to you, A, B, C, or D, and you have to tick the correct one based upon the numerical score. That is your CVSS rating. Then we also are having a tool that is your Nikto tool I'm having. So let me show you here. Like what I can do, I can use this Nikto tool and then I can just write the IP address of this particular victim's machine there. And this Nikto tool will be telling me the all the vulnerabilities that is there on this web server. So right now, as you can see, the port 80 is also open for this machine. So this machine is also behaving as a web server. Now, if I press enter, so to use Nikto tool, let me just write here the target that is -host. This parameter is there. And now this Nikto tool will run. And here you can see that it is automatically will be finding out the vulnerabilities for me. That is the Nikto tool, as you can see. Then similar to this, we are also having is your Nices tool. So Nices tool is also a very industrial standard tool, which is used by many organizations to automatically identify and generate the reports by finding the vulnerabilities. So these are the tools we are having in your vulnerability assessment. So guys, based upon this CVSS ranking, which of the following ranges is the medium range? A, B, C, or D that we discussed. This question has came previously in the exam. Okay, so let me show it to you once again. That is this one. So what is the correct answer now? So D is the correct answer. So you have to memorize the CVSS version 3.1 there. What category, what is the range for that? One question can come from this. Now we have done with our recon, scanning. Now let us go with gaining the access. So as I found out, now it is for initial access part. So this is the victim machine. Now there is one very, very popular site that we are having. That is the exploit DB. So in this exploit DB, you will be able to find there are publicly available exploit scripts that are written in this particular database. So you can find out, if you find out that okay, one service is vulnerable, like in this case, you are able to find, like let me show you here. What you did was you ran that nmap, and here in this case, you are able to find out that this is the vulnerable script. This is the vulnerable service that is running, that is FTP. It is vulnerable in nature. So what I can do, I can go in this exploit DB and I can search, is there any public available script for that? So if I write here FTP VSFTPD 2.3.4 and then I can write exploit DB. Just a Google search I'm doing, and I can see here that this is the script I'm having. If I execute this script, I can get unauthorized access to that particular system's machine, to that particular target system. So here I can see that I can find out this script that is already available in MSF console. So let me quickly show you one way how I'm going to practically run this script and get the access to that system. So this is the victim system, guys, and this is the attacker system. Now I am going to use this Metasploit framework, which is having this public script of FTP backdoor there. So I'm going to run this script and I'm able to get an unauthorized access on that system, on that victim machine. So the tool that I'm going to run is your MSF console tool, guys. Now this is a Metasploit framework I'm having, and it constitutes of many modules. Like exploit module is there, payload module is there, evasion module is there. Like if you want to evade any security solutions. So here, as I was able to know that I can also find out this public available script in that particular Metasploit framework as well. So here in this case, I'm going to search for that VSFTPD, that is FTP1. So I'm going to search VSFTPD and it is telling me these are the two scripts I'm having for FTP there. We will be running this one. And why would we running this? Because we can see that here VSFTPD is there and the version of that is 2.3.4 and it is for backdoor access. We are not going for denial of service. So we are going to use this particular one script. Now I can see that there are some options that I have to fill up. Like here, I need to write out the name of the target. So what is the IP address of this? I need to know. So here I will set the R host to the IP address of the victim machine. So what is the IP address that we find out? That is this one. So as soon as I will run this, I can see here that I have set up all the options. And now I will simply run this script, run this exploit module. And you will see that it has found the shell, the script that was there in this script, it ran successfully. It was able to take advantage of this vulnerability and the session has been established. So if I do, who am I can see I'm the root user right now. I have gained full access on this particular target system. And this is how, guys, you gain the access using this framework there. That is your exploiting the vulnerabilities. That is the third stage, initial access. So tell me the MCQ here. You are looking for reliable exploits you could use against known vulnerabilities. What would you use? Tor network, Metapredator, MSF Venom, Exploit DB. In which site you will be able to find out public exploits, the scripts that are there? That is D. Exploit DB is the correct answer. Now we know, okay, we have gained the access here, and since we have opened the metadata shell, so with this we have also maintained the access. But many times what happens, so let me turn this off machines and let me run these machine here. Sometimes in our fourth phase, that is your, after we are done with recon scanning, gaining the access, fourth is maintaining the access. So in maintaining the access, we could have different types of malwares. Like we could have your Trojan malware, we could have your backdoors, cryptors, rootkits, viruses, worms, like that. So to maintain the access, let me discuss one malware, that is your Trojan. So what is a Trojan? Trojan here is a program in which the malicious or harmful code is contained inside an apparently harmless program or data, which can later gain control and cause damage. So Trojan gets activated when a user performs certain predefined action. So what is a Trojan? Trojan is something which is disguising itself as a legitimate software. And once a victim clicks upon that legitimate software thinking it is legitimate, the Trojan runs and it gets you access. It gets you a foothold on that system, and you are able to make that system compromise fully. So now once that victim system is compromised, now you can achieve these using the Trojan. Like you can delete the critical operating system files. You can use that compromised system to perform a DOS attack. You can record the screenshots. You can spam, blast the email messages, like that. So let me show you one such way with which we can perform this is using a tool, that is your ngrat tool, guys. So let me show it to you here. This is the Windows system, and let us assume that this is the attacker machine. Now, in this case, this is the victim system. Now, the tool that I'm going to show you is your ngrat tool, with which you can maintain the access. So the attacker system is there. Now, before I run this tool, so let me disable the security solutions. Now, let me also disable this one here from this as well. So this is the tool I'm having. That is your ngrat tool. Now let me just quickly run this tool. Now this is the tool I'm having. Now what I will do is I will build a Trojan using this tool, that is ngrat tool. So here, first of all, let me know the IP address of this victim machine. And this is ending with dot 129. Now let me build this particular Trojan and save it in the desktop. So guys, let us assume that we have social engineered that victim, and the victim is downloaded this particular software. So definitely we'll learn more about this particular social engineering in our second day and some questions related to that. Now this is the victim machine and this is the attacker machine, guys. So in this case, victim is going to click on this Trojan thinking it is a legitimate software. As soon as I double click on this, here, what should have happened was that here the particular, as soon as I click on this, we'll be seeing a connection has been established. So let me just do it once again. Let me see it if it is working there or not. So sometimes this tool works, sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes security solutions detect this tool. Okay, so right now it is showing me an error, but what should have or what could have happened is if I run this tool, you will see that you will be able to get the access to that particular victim machine. Now, once you have get access to that, you can perform all these things. Like you can delete the operating systems, you can create the DOS attacks, you can just record the camera, you can screenshot it, you can key log all the keystrokes that that particular victim might be doing. So that is your Trojan we are having. That is to get the remote access to compromised system. And that is the fourth stage, that is maintaining the access. Then we also have your static malware analysis and dynamic malware analysis. So questions come from this as well. Like in static malware analysis, what you do is you analyze without execution. You analyze a suspected file without executing it. That is a static malware analysis. So we are having different tools for that. Like we are having is hybrid analysis tool. We have is virus total. So we will not be executing that particular malware. We can simply be statically analyzing it, like looking at the source code of that and then seeing whether how the malware is working there. But we'll be just performing the code analysis. Then we have is a dynamic malware analysis. In this case, we are running that malware or suspected file in a sandbox, in a virtual container. And here we will be analyzing how the malware is working, how the malware is working there. That is dynamic malware. So we are having tools like IDF freeware. We are having tools like your Cuckoo sandbox. That is one famous tool we are having. So let me show it to you how we can use this. Like in this case, so what I've done is, let me just exit from here. Let us say I'm having a trojan.exe. Now I want to analyze this file. I want to know whether, okay, this particular file is even a particular malware or not. So what I can do, I'm having this site that is hybrid analysis tool. So what I can do in this particular case is I can simply drag and drop that particular Trojan file. And here, this is the tool that will be telling you that whether that particular file is malicious or not. So I can see here that this is the hash of this particular file. And here the CrowdStrike Falcon is telling it is malicious. There are meta defenders that are telling me that this particular file is malicious. As you can see, Trojan is there. It is detecting this. Avira is detecting it is Trojan. McAfee is detecting it is this one, like this. So this is our hybrid analysis. Another one that we are having is virus total. So virus total is also the same. Like you can just upload it and it will be telling you and giving you that like this manner only that that particular file is also malicious. So that is our static and dynamic malware analysis tools we are having. So based upon this, guys, let us see some MCQ. What would you use Cuckoo Sandbox for? Static analysis, malware development, dynamic analysis, manual analysis. The correct answer is C, that is dynamic analysis. What is the one advantage of static analysis over dynamic analysis of malware? Malware is guaranteed to deploy. Dynamic analysis is untrustworthy. Static analysis limits your exposure to infection. Static analysis can be run in virtual machines. C is the correct answer. Static analysis limits your exposure to infection. As you can see, we are just uploading it on this sites there. And on the other hand, in dynamic analysis, we'll be creating a sandbox, and in that we'll be running that malware. We'll be seeing how the behavior of the malware is. So definitely, even though we are running in a sandbox or virtual environment, still there could be some chance that we might be getting exposed to the particular malware there. But in static one, there is no such chance as we are not executing that malware. So that is the one advantage of static analysis. Now, guys, the last phase that we will be discussing after maintaining the access, that is your covering the tracks. So we can cover our tracks using many ways, like we can have auditing, we can disable the auditing. Like after we have compromised the system, we can disable the auditing, we can clear the logs, we can cover the tracks on the networks or on the operating system. We can hide our malicious software in a particular file. So how we can do it? Let us look at one by one. First is disable the auditing. We can use is a tool that is your audit poll. So with this, we can disable the auditing. So intruders, what they do, like once they have fully compromised the system, they disable the auditing using this tool. So how they will disable it, let me show you. So here I'm going to open my CMD, run it as an administrator, and here I can use this audit poll tool, like let us say, to set this subcategory for login. So whenever the attacker will be login, whether it is resulting in success, I'm disabling it. Whether it is resulting in failure, I am disabling it. So that is the audit poll tool. Now, if I see here using this audit poll tool for this particular subcategory, that is login, I can see right now I have disabled it, and right now for login, whether it is success or failure, no auditing is done. So this is one tool with which we can cover the tracks. Now what the attacker can do after it has exfiltrated the data, after the attacker has done his job, at the end of the stay, the intruders will simply turn on the auditing again using this tool. So right now what I will do, I will run this command, but instead of disabling it, I will be now enabling it. And now the command has been successfully executed. So once again, if I see the category of this one login option, I can see now instead of no auditing, the auditing is there for both success and failure. So this is the tool that we are having is your audit poll tool that the attacker use to cover the tracks, guys. Then one more tool we are having is clearing the tracks. So what the attacker can do is attacker can clear the tracks using this command, that is clear EV command. So once they will use this clear EV, they will be able to wipe out all the logs from the particular target system. Another command they can use, or another tool that they can use, or script that they can use is web tutil tool. So that is another tool we are having. So let me show you. Like in this case, we are having web tutil tool, and if I click on enter, I can see that for this web-util tool, I can have the logs for these things. Like if I want to clear the logs for the application, I can clear the logs for the application using this tool, web-util clear for the application log. And I will press enter, and with this, I'll be able to clear the logs. So that is my web-util. Then another one I'm having is covering the tracks. So I can cover the tracks on the network on the operating system. Like how can I cover the tracks? For example, we discussed about was your command and control server, and we are sending the request here on that particular victim machine, commanding the victim machine. But if I want to clear the DNS cache of the victim machine, I can flush the DNS using your IPS DNS flushing. So if I write here ipconfig, I can see that in this case, if I want to see the DNS cache resolver cache, it is this one slash flush DNS to resolve the DNS resolver cache. And if I want to display the DNS, you will be able to see the content of the DNS resolver cache. So the attacker can do is attacker can flush the DNS resolver cache using hyphen flush DNS. So I will write ipconfig flush DNS, and we will see that I have successfully flushed the DNS resolver cache. So that is another way of doing it. Then we are having the log files not just here, but in the particular Linux systems as well. Like if I can see here, we are having all the logs that is stored in var slash log there. So all the logs are stored there. So attacker can clear these logs on the Linux system. Then history, all the commands that the attacker is writing. Attacker can clear all the history using history hyphen C command, guys. So these are some of the ways with which we can cover our tracks. So let us see some MCQ based upon this. Which of the following commands is used to clear the bash history? Just now I have told you A, B, C or D. So here, as an attacker would be writing many commands on the victim's end. And now I can clear all the history. The attacker can clear it using history hyphen C command. The correct answer is yes, it is B. That is history hyphen C. Which utility may be used to stop auditing or logging of events? ADS, LM, NTFS, audit poll. Remember, guys, what was the tool that we used? The correct answer is yes, D. That is your audit poll tool. So this question has came previously in the exam. What might an attacker be trying to do by using this clear EV command in the metapreter? Running an exploit, manipulating timestamps, manipulating the log files, remote logging. So clear EV, let me give you one more hint. That is web tutil tool that we used. What was this tool and this clear EV is used for? The tool that we performed. Let me show you here. What is this tool's used for? That is Clear EV and WebTutil tool. Clearing the logs. So here the correct answer is which one? C, that is manipulating the log files. So with this, we have covered all the phases of ethical hacking.